So what's the best way to clean shoes? In this video, I'm going to go over 6 different types of items that I clean the most. Coming up. Hi guys, thanks for joining me from my patio in Hawaii. If this video inspires you, be sure to check out the whole series of the Cobbler Masterclass. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Teri Edmonds here, where I specialize in shoe repair. And number one of the projects that I do a lot of is cleaning. So I'm going to give you some examples of some of the basic things that I do. Suede shoes. I'm also going to do this little pair of designer flats, antiques. I'm also going to do a Birkenstock. I get a lot of Birkenstocks. I'm going to do a Chanel black patent handbag. I'm going to do this Louis Vuitton bag. And I'm also going to do a basic pair of leather shoes that I'm putting on a new sole, but it needs to be clean first before I dye it. So I'll show you all of these coming up. The supplies you'll need are really simple. I have Easy Suede Cleaner, which is a great product. I've listed all of the supplies below in the description. And then I also have a old Tupperware dish and a nylon brush, all offered on my Amazon shopping cart. And I just keep these as my basics in my cleaning kit. I'm going to use a towel because the way you use this cleaner is you'll apply it with the brush to create a foam. And it's the foam that actually lifts the dirt out of the shoe. And then I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off with this towel. And then I actually use a razor knife, believe it or not. And then I follow up the projects that aren't suede with a Cadillac boot and shoe leather care. I talk a lot about this in most of my videos that I do. So this is a real basic. I also like to use an apron because it does splatter as you're scrubbing, and then I'll use a pair of gloves. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm ready to go. I like to use the big jug because I do so much cleaning. And I'm gonna leave this camera here so I can get you guys some really good up close shots. So I like to shake it up because there are a bunch of little crystals inside here. And I'm gonna do a pretty good amount. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the cleanest of the items first. So that'll be this Louis Vuitton handbag. And this guy's gonna give it to, he's surprising his wife. So we're going to get it nice and cleaned up for her. And it's pretty simple. Everything in here can be cleaned. Louis Vuitton, you know, cleans up really well. So just get a nice suds going on this. And you start one section at a time. I'm going to do the whole surface of this bag first before I go and do the leather pieces. Okay, so that's easy enough. When you get to the leather parts, the key to cleaning leather is you want to do it kind of quickly so that it doesn't leave a watermark. So I'm going to start with this one end. I'm going to go pretty quickly all the way around because I want it to all be wet at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom. This cleaner is amazing. It cleans up so many things, especially fabrics. Coach bags, you know, Coach does a lot of their fabrics, and it cleans up so nicely. You'd be amazed. I just did one. I wish I would have had it for the video. But a gal brought it in and just wasn't even, she's like, I'm not sure if I want to fix it. It's so bad. I'm like, we should try it because this cleaner is amazing. And sure enough, it looks like a brand new Coach bag. Awesome. So we'll do the wallet. This is also really good for cleaning up mold. Moving on to the Chanel, this is a patent leather, and this cleaner won't hurt it. So we want to make sure to go ahead. It's same thing. I'm going to just clean all the visible surfaces on it. And I'm probably also going to clean the inside of this. This collector has even saved her original documents for the bag, which goes to tell you that there are people who want stuff, their fine goods taken care of all the time. So it's nice to build up a clientele like that, especially if you provide good service. They're the, you know, you really want to nurture those kinds of clients. So same thing, I'm just, very nice. I used to work for Chanel, one of their boutiques over here in Maui, and it was one of the best job experiences I've ever had. Just the kind of training that they give you, and then in that training they show you some of the things about how these bags are made, and it's just fantastic. I can understand, being a craftsperson myself, why they charge so much. It's just some of the most amazing leathers that they use, and the detailing of all the name brands I see in my store, which is a lot. I really find that Chanel is one of the best made, so they're just wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this leather chain as well. Wow, this is so beautiful. I'm such a fan of Chanel products. I'm not sure if you know this, but Chanel and Ferragamo, both are companies that were trying to make a living back in the 30s, and when the Depression came around, they were struggling with trying to find materials. I mean, they couldn't get materials, so Ferragamo is one of the first to, he actually invented the plastic uppers on shoes. He used to use a fishing line, and so he was the first one to start that. Coco Chanel started using the burlap sacks where you could get food at, you know, I think they've had rice and sugar and flour and things like that in these burlap sacks, and she ended up using that as some of her material. They just made use of what they had, and I love that about them. Very nice. So this bag is showing a little bit of not delamination, but it's showing wear on the paint. So once this has dried and I've done the conditioner, I'll probably come back with a little bit of black paint and a high gloss that Angelus makes, a high gloss finish coat on that to help clean that up. And of course I did that with, got permission from the client to do that, make that judgment call on my own after I see the final product. So let's move on to Birkenstocks. This pair of Birkenstocks is pretty beat up. We're gonna clean it and see how clean it comes. but I'll probably add a coat of paint to this. I have a pearl glaze in part of my paint collection that I might do for her that'll just kind of lift the color. I really liked this customer. She was super nice, and I'm only doing it as a benefit for her, a perk. She didn't pay for it, but I want to because I thought she was really nice, and so I thought it'd be a good demonstration as well. So I'm going to clean this. And let it dry. Okay, so this is a vintage shoe that I'm going to be painting, and before I paint it, I want to clean it and lift any of the surface dirt off of it. This is really fun. This is such a classic, awesome shoe. It's going to be great when I'm finished with it. And definitely needs some conditioner, so clean. I can see like this shoe is so vintage. It's got some cracks on it and the leather. I want to be sure that before I start working with it and gluing it, that I make the leather really soft and pliable. So once I clean this, I'm going to put my conditioner on it, and that'll really soften it up before I glue it. And I'm also going to clean the insoles for her. So when you're disinfecting shoes, which is always a great idea, especially nowadays, I like to clean it with a cleaner, but first I'll spray it with maybe a Lysol if it's another client shoe. Spray the bottoms and the insoles with some Lysol and let it set for a few days. Here's another one that I get a lot of, and these are suede shoes. This is where the razor knife comes in. So this gentleman spilled pasta sauce on his shoe, and he tried to clean it himself a little bit, and he wasn't able to get that out. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an attempt, but what I notice about suede is that a lot, especially if it's a thick suede, whatever you spilled on the shoe will likely be sitting on the surface layer of suede. It hasn't gone all the way down to the bottom of the surface here. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you're very careful and learn to work with your razor knife, it's one of the best tools I have in my workshop. I just really gently take a little light scratch at the surface. I have saved the most crazy stuff. I mean, I've taken oil out of suede because a lot of it just sits on the surface here. And, you know, there's a little bit of this little nappy here, you can probably see. And just, you know, I'm not scratching the shoe, I'm not hurting the shoe, I'm not causing a slice in the shoe, I'm just getting off that surface, opening up this surface. And then that way when I clean it, it can get down in there a little bit better. See, it's already better. I mean, you can hardly even tell the spot now, but I still am going to clean them. This is called Easy Suede Cleaner. But it's for everything, really. It won't hurt anything. So if you're concerned and don't know for sure, you can do a little test swatch somewhere where you can't see, but it definitely is great for suede. And see, I'm just wiping up this extra. There you go, really getting in there. You know, Dawn is a pretty gentle product, Dawn dish soap, and I do recommend sometimes if people don't want to go buy this cleaner, which is very affordable, so you can try a little bit of Dawn dish soap. Again, try it in a spot that you can't really see, maybe in the back of the heel, and see if and let it dry and then see if it's okay. And then you could do that, but it's, you know, Amazon can deliver this stuff to you in no time. I think I sell it for like $10 a bottle. I'm just going to go ahead and do this outsole really quickly just because it will help make the whole shoe look extra sparkly clean. Okay, so the key to suede is, again, make sure you do the whole item all at once. You don't get watermarks. Once this has dried, I'm gonna let my, clean my brush and I'm gonna let it dry. And at the very end, you come back with your dry brush and your dry shoe and you brush the suede and fluff it up. And that's how it gets to look nice and fluffy. So just gonna really cover this and let it soak in. I've done some items like some really sun-beaten motorcycle seats that are just dried out. I mean, it was probably the oldest one I ever did. It was so cracked. I told the client, I'm not sure. This stuff is great, but who knows? But I ended up putting on about 5 coats. I put on a coat like this, let it sit, and then came back, put another coat on, and I kid you not, it was soft and pliable and fantastic. So I'm a real believer in this stuff. Look how easy that is. Done. Boom. Let that dry. I'm not going to condition this because this is it's a leather, but it's kind of a synthetic leather, so I'm not going to mess with that. I am, however, going to do this Chanel bag because it is real leather. And I'm going to go ahead and just give it a nice little treatment here. This helps protect from new mold setting in, so that's really awesome. Such a pretty bag. Wow, so gorgeous. I'm so glad I get to work on these projects. I mean, I personally can't afford a bag like this myself, but I get to look at them and see them and enjoy them and help other customers enjoy their bags. So I'm going to go ahead and get right in here. Of course I am going to do this Louis Vuitton. It'll make a little bit of a difference, but this leather from Louis Vuitton, it's going to do what it's going to do. I find that once it starts to crack on its own, you can't do much with it, but we'll at least protect it since we cleaned it. There we go, very nice. I hope you're enjoying all the sounds of the birds. I love working from home. This is awesome. I'm always inside. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna go over the whole thing. See how easy this all is? Let's go ahead and protect the leather. The leather that they use on these Louis Vuitton straps are really nice, especially the older versions. Do each strap. And so make sure I hit all of it. This conditioner can smell for a little bit, but it'll go away. And I'm also going to be sure to get the edges here. I often get asked how to refurbish, the leather on a bag, and I don't ever recommend dyeing it because it'll rub off on your clothes. Or polishing it. So this is really about the most that you can do. Just a good cleaning, good leather conditioner on it. And there we go. We'll let that set and dry. Okay. So one of the last ones, it's this shoe. And I am going to take out the laces because ultimately I'm going to polish this shoe. I mean, I thought this would be such a fun example because it's so faded. And that's the best part about doing these really old faded jobs, because when you're done, they look brand new and the customer thinks you're amazing. Okay, so here we go. So the main reason why I'm doing this without the sole on at first is because once I put a sole on, it makes it really hard for me to polish or dye it or whatever without getting that brand new sole dirty. And so I found it's just easier to do it before I put the sole on. And now, even while it's wet, we're going to go ahead and put conditioner on it. This will make for a really nice surface when I go to polish it. It kind of fills in. It's like putting a moisturizer on your skin before you put on a foundation. It makes it nice and supple and allows the finished product to go on smoother. There we go. Now everything just needs time to dry. I'm basically, they're all done. This one here is going to, of course, get the polish on next. But that's it for cleaning. I think this covers most items. The only thing that I would not use this on would be something that you've already dyed. Like if I had dyed these shoes already and then tried to clean it, it might take some of that dye off. And so I don't think I'd recommend that. But fabric shoes are all really good, unless of course it's a dyed fabric shoe, like you'll see in one of the videos I'm doing called dyeing as part of this series. I would not clean that shoe with a cleaner after this. But most everything else you can. I've done saddles, equestrian gear, I mean a ton of stuff. So great product to have, the Suede cleaner and the conditioner. It's the Dynamic Duo. And you can do a lot of, you can help a lot of people with those if you decide that you want to make this part of your business plan. Definitely recommend it. I'll do another video on sanitizing and some of the new products that are out there for with ultraviolet light that are really awesome, but we'll make that a separate video. And if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll know when that video comes out. So thanks again for joining me. Please like and share this video and maybe watch the rest of the series. You might be very inspired. Thanks for joining me here in Maui. Aloha.